Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Loaded with some news today. It's the NFL trade deadline. We'll get to what the Saints have done thus far and what they may do moving forward here over the next 2 hours. Talk that in the next segment, as well as with Sharief Aishack coming up at 2:30. Glen will be along in 30 minutes talking Tigers, our weekly discussion with Colin Jeter of the LSU Alumni Association, of course, former Tiger as well. So lots and lots to do. Let's lock us in here for the next couple of hours. We'll start it the way we do every day with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's opening drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
All right, so I've talked a little bit about the situation with the coaching search and how we're going to discuss this over what's going to be a long month of November, right? Like, there's a football game to be played coming up on Saturday. There is a month of season left to go for these players, and for us to just go full speed ahead for a month and change on a coaching search is probably not the best use of our time. I'm here to discuss possible options. I'm here to give my opinion on this name or that name, but it's probably not going to be an everyday thing. I don't think we'll talk any coaching search Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week or Monday of next week. But as things come up, I'm going to discuss them at the appropriate time. And I want to be very, very clear that I'm a little bit dismissive of this myself, but it is in the news, so let's just discuss. I'm not here to tell you this is someone that LSU is actively pursuing. I'm not here to tell you this is a likely outcome. I'm just here to discuss a possibility and give my opinion on it, which I have at LouisianaSports.net, and I will here now. If you're here in Baton Rouge, if you're in Louisiana, it's probably likely at this point the name Nick Saban has showed up on your text messages between friends, has showed up in your discussions outside church on Sunday, showed up at the water cooler at the office. It certainly showed up on the internet today when Shaquille O'Neal told Us Weekly, I heard through the grapevine they were having conversations with Nick Saban. That'd be awesome if we can bring Nick back. That's what Shaq had to say. Shaq's got a pretty big voice. So the question becomes like, is this reasonable? Not, are they about to do this? Not, is it a target? Not, is this a reasonable suggestion? And I've got some pretty clear thoughts on this. Nick Saban is the best college football coach that's ever lived. He came to LSU at the turn of the century, and he set up the golden era of LSU football. Then he made a mistake and went to the NFL, and he came back and made Alabama into a machine that I don't believe we'll ever see again in college football. He's the best. And unlike a lot of aging coaches who reach the top of the sport, Alabama did not really slip under Nick Saban. Keep in mind, at the end, 2 years ago, Nick Saban was in the national semifinal out in the Rose Bowl against Michigan and had a 7-point lead in that game with 2 minutes to go. They got that game to overtime, and Milroe couldn't score. But, like, the last game he coached was the national semifinal where he was 2 minutes from winning that thing. And, oh, by the way, the Michigan team that he lost to played Kalen DeBoer's Washington team a week later and beat them 34-13. So it never really slipped. And so I understand if there are people that want to look at this and go, I mean, yeah, go hire Nick Saban. Here's where I am on it. Nick Saban stepped away. He was not forced out. didn't lose a bunch of games and feel any pressure, he stepped away. And some of the things that he said after stepping away make this pretty clear to me. This is a quote from Nick Saban to Reese Davis after he stepped away from Alabama. To be honest, this last season was grueling. It really was a grind for us to come from where we started to where we got to. Took a little more out of me than usual. When people mentioned the health issue, it was really just the grind. Can you do this the way you want to? Can you do it the way you've always done it and be able to sustain it for the entire season? And if I couldn't make a commitment to do that in the future the way I think I have to do it, I thought maybe this was the right time based on those two sets of circumstances. So he said, it just took too much out of me to do this from August through January. I didn't think I could do it. That's coming from a guy who got his team to the national semifinal. But it's 2 years ago. He was 72 when he said that. He's 74 now. And then you look at this quote from Nick Saban. When I was young, I could be there until 2 o'clock in the morning, be there at 6 o'clock the next day, and feel full of energy to go do it. When I get a little older, it's a little tougher, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Well, he's older then than he was now. And he's telling you 2 years ago, I can't operate the way that I feel like I need to. You look at what a college coach has to do. You get to campus. You've got to hire a staff. You've got to put together a personnel department. You've got to build relationships with high school players. You've got to recruit the transfer portal. You've got to re-recruit your own roster. You've got to manage the money in the collective and with the revenue sharing and make sure that each position is allocated the right funds. You've got to deal with disgruntled players who feel like they should deserve more. And if those people leave, you've got to replace them. You've got to deal with motivating boosters and raising money. You've got to deal with all of that before you ever blow a whistle at practice to develop players and devise game plans and watch tape. This is a grueling job. And yes, if Nick Saban were to come to LSU, he would have assistants lined up to come work for him. Yes, LSU's got a personnel department over there. He would be able to delegate some responsibilities, but it's just not the way he's ever worked. You just ran a guy out of town who was kind of delegating and stepping back. And I realize that Brian Kelly and Nick Saban aren't the same, but they were both kind of at the top of the sport 5-7 years ago. Consistently in the top 5, consistently competing toward the top of the sport. Nick Saban doesn't want to just delegate. He wants to be involved in every single thing that happens. Can you do that at 74, at 75, at 76? I realize you're not signing to a 10-year deal. You'd say, hey, make 3 runs at a championship here. Stabilize things. I get what the message would be, but he can't do it the way he wants to. And oh, by the way, there are other quotes that Nick gave after he stepped away. Like this, talking about paying high schoolers NIL deals. Now that's actually happening, he said. People are making deals with high school players to go to their school. It's not about coaching and developing as much as it is what kind of money can you make. Well, that hadn't changed at all. And he continued, it's great that players have the freedom to do what they want to do, but I also don't think we should create circumstances where they don't have to make the commitment and see things through. They don't have to make the commitment and see things through. They can look up in September, not like the depth chart, say, please redshirt me, I'm leaving. This is the landscape of college football. He doesn't like it. So not only is he 2 years older than when he said, I can't really do this at the level I want to, the rules that he didn't like and was outspoken against and spoke to Congress about changing haven't really changed that much. This doesn't feel like a fit to me. I am not here telling you that Nick Saban, if he took this job, would coast and Cadillac and run LSU into the ground. Like LSU could do far worse than Nick Saban in this hiring cycle. Because if Nick Saban came to LSU, there's a pretty damn good chance that LSU would field a pretty good football team next year. Like, I feel pretty good about that. You would not get, in my opinion, the machine that Saban created in Tuscaloosa for 15 years. Your floor would be reasonably high, but your shelf life on that is almost zero, just almost nothing. Your floor, you go out and hire, and I'm using complete hypotheticals here just to make the point. Complete hypotheticals, no information. You hire Kenny Dillingham, you hire Clark Lee, you hire Eli Drinkwitz, you hire whoever, Georgia's defensive coordinator. Like, you could crash this car pretty quick. Like, they could come here and it just does not work at all. And I don't think you run that risk with Saban as much. But your upside on Saban, to me, is just not all that high, because I don't think you're getting the Nick Saban that we all think when that name pops into your brain. I would rather take the risk of going to get the guy in his 40s that might do this for 11 years, that might do this for 7 years. Because I don't think Nick Saban wants to do this. And you talk about, well, you can offer him $14 million. And you heard Saban on game day give the quote that I don't want Jimmy Sexton anywhere near Miss Terry because she starts seeing these numbers that are being thrown around and she gets interested. Well, I ain't interested, he said. And I just don't know how much I buy this. I understand that $14 million is $14 million, and that's a lot of money, and a lot of people like $14 million instead of not $14 million. But Nick Saban made well over $100 million in Tuscaloosa, and he's got a part in 9 car dealerships. I just don't think the Sabans are missing out on a lot of things because they can't quite foot the bill. Okay? So to me, like, I understand where this comes from, and I understand why there are some people that think it would be a great deal, and it's a great idea. I just don't see it that way. I think it's kind of an easy way out that isn't what you think it is. So if LSU were to put Nick Saban on the podium, I would go, all right, let's see how this goes. You wouldn't hear me saying, well, this is a disaster. What the heck are they doing? But I would also feel like your upside on it was pretty low because of the short shelf life. You're basically saying, okay, this guy's so good, so dominant, that he can come in at 80% of what he once was, and he'll just flip around the roster and get you a national championship in 2 years. That's ambitious. It's ambitious to me. So I'm not here to talk about Nick Saban all month long. This was the 10 minutes I was going to spend on Nick Saban here. Shaq's talking about it. There's rumors on the internet about it. People are buzzing Twitter about it. I'm going to address it here. Let's move on and talk about the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is that the Saints have made a trade today, and they've got an hour and 40 minutes to make another one. Let's talk Saints trade deadline when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Man, it's a wild trade deadline day up in New York. The Jets unloaded Sauce Gardner to the Colts a little bit earlier and just now have executed a trade with the Dallas Cowboys. They're sending Quinnen Williams, who's made a couple Pro Bowls for the Jets, to the Cowboys. They are loading up on draft capital there in New York, and looks like the Saints are attempting to do some of the same. They just don't quite have the assets. But the Saints have made one move today. They sent Rashid Shaheed to Seattle. They get a 4th-round pick and a 5th-round pick in 2026. So I want to put this in context with all of the moves that the Saints have made at wide receiver in the last few months, and then kind of talk about what this means with Shaheed and where the Saints are headed at the position. So it started with the Ja'Kai Polk trade. The Saints get Polk, who is out for the year, and a 2028 7th rounder. I'm glad they got a 7th round pick in 2028, but I can't really spend a lot of time on that today. With the Patriots got the Saints 2027 6th round pick, which is another draft from now, 2 drafts from right now. So you get Polk, rookie, former 2nd round pick, talent you like, potentially, a guy you can insert in as a key piece to your passing game that is not playing right now and is out of sight, out of mind for most Saints fans. But he's there on the shelves. Then you go get Devon Vele. The Saints got Vele, who's under contract through the 2027 season. They sent Denver a 2026 4th rounder, so this next draft a 4th round pick, and then in the following draft a 7th round pick in 2027. So you were out a 4th round pick in this coming draft. You send Rashid Shaheed to Seattle, you get a pick back in that round. Now, it's going to be worse because the Saints pick in that round is going to be significantly higher than the Seahawks pick in that round, but you traded a 4th rounder away, you got a 4th rounder back. You also get a 5th round pick. So now, as the Saints look at this draft coming up in 2026, the next draft, they've got their 1st round pick, 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, Seattle's 4th round pick. They traded theirs away. They also have a 4th round pick potentially coming if Isaac Yiadom doesn't meet his snap requirements, which the Saints are technically in control of. We'll see. So that would be a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 2 4ths, 2 5ths now with the Shaheed pick, and a 6th round pick. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 selections right now in this upcoming draft, and you part ways with Rashid Shaheed. I realize that Rashid Shaheed is a fan favorite. He's an exciting player. He makes big plays, and he is an asset on this team, and he's not overly old. He's 27 years old. However, this is how this works. The Saints, as we chronicled yesterday, as you're all very well aware in watching this team play, are nowhere near being a functional football team. Not even close. This is a line I used on yesterday's show. I find it to be true. They're not approaching league average at any position on the field. So you've got to get younger and cheaper. And Rashid Shaheed, at 27, entering his free agent year, like he is a free agent after this season, like is not getting younger or cheaper at all. And to get younger and cheaper, you've got to give assets. And the Saints don't have a lot of them. So you trade Rashid Shaheed off. He's going to be great in Seattle in Clint Kubiak's offense with one of the best receivers in the league in Jackson Smith and Jigba. Him playing the number 2, like he's going to be great there. And you got some draft capital. The point of this matter is not whether or not Mickey Loomis and Ireland and the whole crew up there can hit on these draft picks, because that's a whole different discussion. The only way you can do this is to get draft picks. So you have to give something of value to get value back. You can't get a first-round pick for Cesar Ruiz. You can't ship off Alvin Kamara for a first-round pick. Like, you have to give some value. Shaheed has value to get that value. And let's be frank. Like, do we think the Saints are going to be really good next year? I don't. So the older Rashid Shaheed gets, the more expensive he gets. He's not in your window. Rashid Shaheed's probably not in your window. It sucks, but it just is what it is. You need draft picks. And Rashid Shaheed nets draft picks. So now you look at the wide receiver room. I would be for the Saints trading Tris Olave. We'll see. They've picked up his option. We'll see if they extend him this year. But you've got Ja'Kai Polk coming. You now have snaps available for Devon Bailey, who you inexplicably traded for with your draft capital that's so important, and then aren't putting on the field. So now you can, because Shaheed is not here. And you get a pick back for that. This is not a grand slam. It's not a home run, but it is the right thing to do. This is where the Saints are. And every time that phone rings between now and 3 o'clock, you've got an hour and 37 minutes. The Saints ought to be answering, and they ought to be in trade mode. Because there are very, very few pieces to that roster that I look at right this second and go, you really don't need to trade that player. I would say that about Kelvin Banks. I would suggest that about Taliesin Fuaga. I would probably say the same thing for Eric McCoy. And beyond that, and maybe Tyler Shuck, Kool-Aid McKinstry. I don't even know how to put Kool-Aid in that mix. Like, you really don't have anybody that's off limits. That's where you are. You need draft capital, you need picks, and you need to clear up money. And now the Saints not going to be on the hook for any sort of extension and long-term deal with Rashid Shaheed. You're going to pay his base salary. Seattle's going to pick up the bonus structure of that moving forward, and that comes off the books next year. And you're just going to have to continue to whittle that down. And eventually Cam Jordan comes off the books, and eventually DeMario Davis comes off the books, and Ramchick's coming off the books, and like Matthews come off the books, and you're going to start to clear up some of that money. It's going to take some time, but you got to do it. And then you've got to hit on these picks. They did a good job in this draft of making the selections. Like, not the players they got, actually using them instead of trading up to get one player. They used those picks, spread them out, and you're seeing some of these guys get to the field now. You're going to see some Devin Neal moving forward. You're seeing some Jonas Sanka right now. You're going to see Quincy Riley. Like, we'll see if they can get Vele on the field with the trade they made for him. Like, you're going to see some of these guys the rest of the season, not to mention Ishaq, who's got the keys to the offense now. You're going to see Kelvin Banks. You're going to see Fuaga. And you hope. I'm not feeling great about what I've seen from those guys, but they're still very young, and you've got enough. You're getting picks here that you can use. But my sincere hope is over the next hour and a half that we see that the Saints have made some more moves. And quite frankly, the bigger the name, hopefully the better the return. There just aren't any guys on this team that are cornerstones. You just saw the New York Jets move off Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. Now, their return was way better. The Jets got 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, got another one for Quinnen Williams. But the Saints don't have any of those players. They don't have any mid-20s Pro Bowl guys. They just don't. Like Rashid Shaheed made it as a punt returner a couple years ago, and this is the best you can do. But they got a reasonable haul for him, and you're just got to stockpile that draft capital and then use it. I understand the Saints fans that are looking at this going, who cares about the draft capital? These guys can't make picks. And I understand that. We discussed this yesterday. The confidence level that you've got in this front office is right to be low. But maybe they can just hit like they did a few years ago in that draft that netted them some Pro Bowlers and an All-Pro, and that's your only hope. You have no hope if you stand pat with this roster. Extend Shaheed, extend Olave, you extended Kamara, and you extended Juwan Johnson. Like, you have no hope sticking with this group. There's a line in Angels in the outfield. You have to start trading them, all of them now. And that's how I feel about this Saints organization. They may need some divine intervention, and quite frankly, they've got the right team name to get that involved. The Angels can get it in that movie. Maybe the Saints can get it here. But not counting on divine intervention, let's go ahead and get some draft picks. And the Saints did that with Rashid Shaheed. So it's good for Shaheed. He goes to a great spot that I think he's really going to flourish in. And the Saints need to do more. Get more draft picks. If you get enough of them, if you get a 9, 10, 11 pick haul, maybe you can move up here and there to take a guy in the second round or in the third round that you want to move up for, and then you don't limit the amount of players that you're bringing in. You got to get as many lottery tickets as you can. And when the Saints were going into drafts with 5 draft picks and then trading 2 of them away to move up 6 spots in the first round, you're just not bringing enough guys. Bring in more guys. You hate to see Rashid Shaheed go because of how fun it is to watch him play. Fact of the matter is, he doesn't fit into the Saints window. The window's down the road. And the guys that fit into that window are playing college football right now. You've got to draft them. And the Saints did a good job here of going ahead and getting draft capital where they could get it. Did it with Marshawn Lattimore last year, doing it with Shaheed this year. Hopefully there's more to come in the next 90 minutes down in New Orleans. That's a look at the Saints. We'll do so with Sharief Aishack moving forward here on this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Tuesday editions brought to you by Daryl Mays with RE/MAX. Daryl May with RE/MAX, looking to buy or sell a home here in Baton Rouge. Do it with a guy who's been in Baton Rouge his entire life. Daryl May, born and raised here, a Catholic High graduate. Daryl's also spent a lot of time in the building business, 2 decades. So he knows when he's representing you what you're looking for, what's a good build, what's a good property, who should you trust, and where should you maybe stay away from? And he can also help you sell that home as well. Daryl May with RE/MAX Properties brings you our Tuesday shows. When we come back, we'll chat with our guy Glen West. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Get behind the wheel of one of those GV80s. It's their midsize SUV, perfect size for that young family. So comfortable, stylish, sleek, elegant, and one of the safest cars on the road. Every model in the line is an IHS top safety pick, all of them. So you know when you're getting behind the wheel of a Genesis, you're getting behind the wheel of one of the safest cars on the road. Go by and see him airline at PQ. The facility's first class, and you know that line of vehicles is as well. Get America's Best warranty when you drive off the lot, and know that you've got 3 years of complimentary scheduled maintenance coming your way as a Genesis driver. It's just part of being a part of a luxury brand at a reasonable price. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge, airline at PQ, and online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. there are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term,
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May at Remax Partners. Glen West joins us on Tuesdays, talking Tigers. Do so now. Joins us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Glenn, how we doing?
Doing great, Hunt. Just glad to be talking some football now and getting back to the field. That's nice. Nice change of pace.
Yeah, it's an interesting week because this for so long was just the game that everybody pointed to. It just had a completely different vibe. You talked about it through the bye week and into game day, and I haven't even really gotten into LSU Bama just yet, and that's just a complete change of pace. But I guess it's just a product of where LSU is in its football program right now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, you just named your university president about 20 minutes ago, and now I think the ball can really start to get rolling here on this coaching search. But look, in the meantime, here over the next month, LSU's got still something to play for. I think from a player perspective, whether that's playing for future portal interest, whether that's playing for future NFL draft interest, or playing for a spot on next year's roster. I think there's a lot that these players can individually accomplish, but I think it's going to take really this group coming together and playing as a team for them to be able to put out that good film here over the next 4 weeks.
Frank Wilson has been asked directly about Michael Van Buren twice. He hasn't brought it up independent of those questions. Do you feel like there's a significant chance that Michael Van Buren takes snaps this month?
I do. I think he'll get some opportunities. Look, I don't know that he'll be out there 5-10 times a game against Alabama on Saturday, but I do think if there's opportunity against Western Kentucky, if there's opportunity against Arkansas, to give him some extended looks, I think LSU will lean into that, and they probably should lean into that. I think they need to have as much of a sample size of him playing with this roster as you possibly can to kind of have a good evaluation on what kind of the future might look like with him at quarterback. And look, I understand that the next head coach is going to have a huge say in what happens at the future of every position on the roster, but Michael Van Buren is still a young enough player to where if he develops the right way over the next couple seasons, he could be in that mix for LSU next year if he decides to stay. So I would certainly love to see him in some short third down situations, some run situations in the red zone or down by the goal line. There's probably some creative ways that they can continue to utilize his mobility and skill set, but I think from an extended look perspective, the Western Kentucky game is the game that I'm circling for maybe some drives where he can produce.
I've got a follow-up coming, so all I need is a number from you here. But how many rushing attempts for LSU running backs do you think on Saturday?
Ooh, I'm going to go 25.
Okay, we got 25. Divvy them up between the three guys.
I'm going to go Harlan Berry 12, Caden Durham 7, and let's see, do the
6
math
left.
here. I guess Juwan Johnson 6.
Okay. You think that Harlan Berry will be LSU's lead back moving forward then?
I do. I think he's going to have more and more opportunities in this offense. I think he's proven that he is the most explosive back in this backfield, and that's not to shade Caden Durham at all. I mean, I think he can be useful in this offense going forward, but just watching Harlan these last couple weeks, you can tell he's really taken another step in his game, and I would imagine LSU really leans into him.
How do you feel about the offensive line? I said this on my show yesterday. I'm not even that embarrassed because I was writing about the A&M game and it felt more important at the time. I didn't even notice that Karius Curran got hurt. I learned that yesterday. So what do we think about what that looks like in the game on Saturday?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think whatever LSU is able to get out of Curran today and tomorrow in practice will give us maybe a little bit more of a clearer understanding. But if he's not able to go this weekend, I would imagine they continue to lean into DJ Chester at left tackle. I mean, Frank talked yesterday about potentially moving Weston Davis from right tackle to left tackle. I don't see who that benefits in any scenario. I think you just keep him where he is, and then DJ Chester is a guy that has some opportunities under his belt, some games under his belt, and I think he's playing out of position. I think he's more of a guard, but this is clearly the next best option when you're down both Tyree Adams and Karius Curran. You only have so many options that you can turn to, and Chester's always been kind of their Swiss Army knife this year. So I would imagine it's Chester if Curran can't go at left tackle.
All right, let's switch over to the defense. Ty Simpson's playing really good football for Alabama at this point. How do you feel LSU matches up in the air where Alabama does the majority of its work?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a huge game for the LSU secondary. I mean, that's breaking news, I know, but they have some really talented receivers, and Simpson is obviously playing at an elite level from just an efficiency standpoint and knowing where he wants to go with the ball and how he's directing this offense. I honestly think this is maybe a little bit of a better matchup on paper for this defense than Texas A&M or Vanderbilt, just because I think Simpson can run. I think he's got 187 yards rushing this year with when you take out the sack yards. But he's always going to be a guy that I think is looking to pass, and LSU's strength this year has been in its secondary, and so if Monster Delane, DJ Pickett, PJ Woodland can have some good games against some really explosive receivers like Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard, I think that's kind of their pathway towards success. You obviously want to see this front seven try to apply some pressure, but Alabama, I mean, for all that we've said about LSU and their rushing woes this year, Alabama has also had its struggles trying to get the run game going, and I think they certainly are going to look to pass more than run, and so there should be some opportunities to get some pressure and make some plays, but I think it's really going to come down to how the secondary performs against these receivers.
The pass rush for LSU has not been great this year. Now you're dealing with some pretty mobile quarterbacks, but I thought they would put up more sack numbers than they have. Do you feel like this is an opportunity to maybe go get a guy that doesn't move as well?
I do. I think that the thing that they've done with quarterbacks, whether it's Cade Klubnik or DJ Lagway earlier in the year, they may not have finished those plays, but they've at least gotten into the backfield and been able to disrupt them a little bit. And look, I think one of Ty Simpson's strengths as a quarterback is his maneuverability in the pocket. So he's a very composed player for a first-year starter. It's really impressive. But I do think LSU has some athletes to get after him a little bit and make him throw some incredible throws throughout the course of this game, or make him beat him with his arm. And so I think LSU is going to have an opportunity to get some pressure. Whether or not they're able to finish those plays, I'm with you. They haven't been able to do so as consistently as I thought, and certainly not over the last couple weeks. But that's an area here where I think LSU should certainly plan to have lots of dialed up pressures from Blake Baker to try to be as creative as possible.
What's your gut tell you about how it goes on Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to get to like the 12 to 14 point range on this. I do think LSU, with the right mindset and the right focus, can keep it a little bit closer for a little bit longer in this game, especially if they're able to establish the run like they really want to this weekend. That's the other thing about Alabama's defense, is they haven't been great against the run either. And so if you're able to, have longer extended drives and kind of chew clock and make this kind of more of a possession game, I think that really benefits LSU in this one. And so I think that I think they'll probably hold it between 7 and 10 points, but I still think Bama's going to get the win at home.
You wrote a preview up at Go 24/7 about the LSU basketball team, which tips off tomorrow against Tarleton State. Give me a thumbnail or two on what you think about this team as they tip off tomorrow.
They better handle their business in non-conference, because their conference schedule is absolutely loaded, and I know that's the case for every team across the SEC. But I mean, LSU's away schedule this year is absolutely brutal, and so I think they have to have a really strong non-conference schedule. They have a lot of opportunities here to kind of figure out their rotations over the next 5-6 games, to really kind of figure out what they want, if it's an 8 or 9 man rotation, but. I think De'Don Thomas is going to have to fuel this thing and probably play 35, 36 minutes a game. I think he's one of the more, impressive creators on offense that we've seen at LSU really since Tremont Waters. And so I'll be really interested to see kind of how, that continues to kind of come together after a really impressive exhibition game and over these next 5 or 6 non-conference games in particular.
I wrote last year that I thought LSU would shoot the ball pretty well, and they ended up shooting it horrendously. Only Wake Forest was worse in the Power 4, Power 5, Power 6, whatever it is in basketball these days. I think it's Power 6 is what we're looking at, even though the Pac-12's gone. Whatever. They shot it really bad. Do you think this team is going to be any better?
I hope so. I can't say that, I know that for sure. I think they did they made it a strategy this year to go after some shooters. Markel Sutton, I think, should be able to shoot the ball well for them. Rashad King, Max McKinnon, Ron Zipper. These are all, wing players that are, have good touches around the 3-point arc and should be able to space the floor for a guy like Thomas. But, yeah, I think they're going to really try to do a lot of catch and shoot. This is not going to be an offense where you really are going to see a lot of guys going one-on-one, and that's, I think, where LSU has kind of gotten into a funk in the last couple of years. They've never really been able to find a rhythm in the half court, and I think De'Don Thomas is really going to help a lot of these guys set them up well to shoot at a high clip from catch and shoot range, and that's where I think a lot of their bread and butter is going to be as an offense.
He's Glen West, senior editor at Go 24/7, covering basketball, baseball, football. They're all in recruiting as well, and he's with us every Tuesday here on the Hunt Palmer Show. Thanks, Glenn.
All right, appreciate it, Hunt.
I'm going to talk a little about LSU's basketball team tomorrow as they get ready for Tarleton State. I actually watched some of Tarleton State last night. They played SMU. LSU, of course, plays Tarleton State tomorrow, and then they play SMU in December in New Orleans. So I watched 15 minutes of the game. Neither team overly impressive. Not a ton of size on either team. They were up and down a little bit and scored some points. But LSU ought to be able to handle their business tomorrow. But I have some big picture thoughts on the team. I wrote a little preview over the weekend on LouisianaSports.net, and we'll talk about them tomorrow as they get ready to tip their season off. They'll start at 7 o'clock tomorrow at the PMAC. So tickets available if you want to go check out LSU on the hardwood tomorrow evening. I'll be writing about it over at LouisianaSports.net. LSU's got a president and a chancellor. We'll talk about both of those when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carbo and his team, phenomenal folks to work with in the insurance game. Been a quiet storm season here in South Louisiana along the Gulf Coast. We like it that way. But it's not always the case. You know that. So if you're looking at a renewal that's coming up and you've never really paid much attention to why you have the rates that you have on your property policy, let the Howard Insurance Group take a look at it. They'll make sure that your building valuations are correct. They'll make sure you're not set to incur some co-insurance penalties so you don't get fully paid out on your claim. They'll let you know why your business interruption limit is what it is, and they'll make sure that everything reads properly. I know a lot of folks, and I know this from the time in the insurance business, just look at that premium at the end, close the book, and get the check signed. That's one way to do it, but you leave yourself susceptible to a lot of things if you don't know what your insurance program says. So if you're looking for a broker to get a second set of eyes on your policy to make sure that in the event of a loss, you're covered properly, the Howard Insurance Group can do that for you. It's Jonathan Carbo and his team right here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide. They're online at highlandig.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group online at highlandig.com.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is...
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up hour #1 here. We're brought to you by Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners. Looking to buy or sell a home in the Baton Rouge area. Daryl May, happy to help you out with that. He brings you our Tuesday shows each and every week. News today, which we expected, is that LSU has appointed and announced a president of the university. Also, LSU has announced the chancellor of the university, which is interesting. I did not expect this and certainly wasn't deeply involved in it. This is not something that falls under my purview covering sports over here until it does. But as expected, you saw Wade Roos, the president of LSU, announced today he comes from McNeese, where he was serving in that role. And they also announced that Jim Dalton would become essentially the chancellor. So Roos is going to oversee the LSU system, which has multiple campuses, multiple outlets. And then you've got Dalton, who will essentially head up the Baton Rouge campus, main campus here. And how they do things day to day with the academics over at LSU, I'm certainly pulling for. Want nothing but great things for my alma mater, but not going to be something we discuss here. What we discuss here is how it impacts the athletic program, because we're a sports talk station. And so now, I told you last week on Friday, it was like, okay, you've now got a situation where you do not have a university president, you do not have an athletic director, and you do not have a football coach. That is significant unrest. It's not going to last very long, but it is. So now you've got a president. You've got Wade Roos, who is in place. He will be heavily involved, one would imagine, in selecting the athletic director as well as the next football coach. Stands to reason. President generally involved in those types of things. When Brian Kelly was hired to be the head coach at LSU, you see a picture of Brian Kelly holding the big jersey that has William Tate and Scott Woodward next to him. And so Verge Osbury, as we were told on Friday, has full authority and autonomy to go hire a football coach. And I believe Verge Osbury is still very much in charge of running that committee that he talked about last week. It's got a couple of Board of Supervisors members on it, and it's got Bo Bordelon on it, and it's got Ben Bordelon on it, and it's got Verge, and like they'll go attempt EJ Kuiper from FMOL. They'll go and interview candidates and go hire a coach. But now that Wade Roos is in place, he's going to have a say here. How big is that say? I'm not sure. And the other domino here is, how quickly does Roos get an athletic director in place? You do have a little bit of time here, where it's November the 4th. The full-on race to go hire a football coach is generally saved for the back end of November. Ed Ogeron and Brian Kelly were both hired in the last 4 days of November. You see early December hirings as well. And potentially this could get pushed back if LSU is aggressively targeting coaches who are coaching on December 19th and 20th in the college football playoff, coaching on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day in the college football playoff. But I don't know where athletic director falls on the to-do list of a newly appointed university president in Wade Roos. I'm not sure. I don't know what that looks like. That's above my pay grade. It's something that I'm confident he'll be asked in the coming days when he meets with the press. And I'm confident he will kind of deflect that answer and won't give you a definitive timeline, because why would you box yourself in? But as I said last week, generally speaking, you would like there to be a president and an athletic director, and then the athletic director goes and hires a football coach in that order. Because if you hire a football coach and then hire an AD, all of a sudden that AD is not as wed to the football coach. And secondly, maybe you don't get the right football coach because that football coach doesn't know who his boss is going to be. It takes some time to get this thing aligned. And as I said on Friday of last week, like, great alignment, which LSU had, with John Bell Edwards and William Tate and Scott Woodward hiring Brian Kelly. Like, everything was in line there as well. And it didn't work. Everybody lost their jobs. So it doesn't assure anything, but it's just the way that, generally speaking, things are done. In any organization, you'd like the top to be settled as you work your way down. And you've got now president settled. Good or bad, it's settled. I don't have any opinion on Wade Roos as the president of LSU. I don't know much of what he did at McNeese, quite frankly, and don't know much of what he'll do at LSU. We're talking sports. Athletic director, football coach are to come. In what order? I'm not sure. How much input Roos will have on the football coach? I'm not sure. But you're adding cooks to the kitchen here as you go. Still early. There is time. But it does make this a very interesting search from the outside, because you're not exactly sure how much power folks are wielding. I listened to John Cohen talk over at Auburn yesterday, and he's like, look, I am the committee. I will talk to people. I'm going to take input. I'm going to have discussions. I will make this decision. That's not what you're getting at LSU. You're getting Verge Osbury saying that I'm going to go get the best football coach, but he's hiring a committee that he's a part of, and now you've got a new president, and does the athletic director come in? And there are just a lot more moving pieces to what LSU is trying to get accomplished here. We'll see how it all shakes out. But Wade Roos from McNeese is now the president, and then you've got the chancellor as well as it's the Baton Rouge campus provost and chancellor, Jim Dalton, who have been selected today, and they'll be approved by the Board of Supervisors here. So that's your future at the top of LSU. All right, moving right along here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. That's a lot in hour number one. Should LSU call Nick Saban? Should they hire Nick Saban? I gave you my thoughts at the top of the show. The Saints continue to try to make some moves here at the trade deadline. They got an hour and 5 minutes to go. They've traded Rashid Shaheed. I gave you my thoughts on that. You can find it at Hunt on Saints, and we'll see over the next hour if they do anything else. We'll keep our fingers on that pulse. If you missed any of that, you can catch it on demand at the Hunt Palmer Show, wherever you find your sound. We're going to pause for SportsCenter and a lot to do in hour number 2. Colin Jeter from the LSU Alumni Association, former Tiger, is going to be with us here coming up in 5 minutes to discuss all things LSU football. We'll talk Saints trade deadline with Sharief Aishack from WDSU at the bottom of the hour. I've also want to get to some LSU offensive line talk as well in the second hour. So plenty to do on a fast-moving show. I hope your work week's off to a good start. Again, we'll pause for SportsCenter, get some national headlines, which will be Jet-centric, I would think, and back with more of the Hunt Palmer Show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp,
Our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Jets trading not one, but two stars on this NFL trade deadline day. Cornerback Sauce Gardner on his way to the Colts for 2 first-round picks, one in 2026, another in 2027, and receiver A.D. Mitchell. Gardner filling a need in Indy's cornerback room, explains ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday.
You pair him back there with Cam Bynum, Kenny Moore, Travarius Ward when he gets back. You're talking about a very strong defensive backfield, maybe opportunities to play some man instead of just zone. We're seeing some of the best defenses when you have to do it to bring pressure. So maybe they're just thinking, hey, look, we got a shot at this thing.
The Jets also sending defensive end Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys for a 2026 first-round pick, 2027 first-rounder, and defensive tackle Maisie Smith. Dallas also got linebacker Logan Wilson from the Bengals for a 7th-rounder as it looks to bolster a defense that's among the NFL's worst. Raiders receiver Jacoby Myers got his wish granted. He is acquired by the Jaguars for a 2026 4th-round and 6th-round picks. Seahawks banged-up receiving core got a boost, got Rashid Shaheed from the Saints for 4th and 5th-round picks in 2026.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, the Giants sit at 2-7 for the 3rd straight season. Jackson Dart has looked good, but is it enough to save Brian Daboll's job? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners. Buying or selling a home in Baton Rouge, you can reach out to Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners. Kick off Hour 2 on Tuesdays with our guy Colin Jeter, former LSU tight end, and now with the LSU Alumni Association. How are you, sir?
Oh, we're doing good. Tigers beat the bye week. We're 1-0 this week, so we're back. We're back on track.
We'll take any win we can get at this point in South Louisiana. There just aren't a lot of them going around. So if you're going to give us one on the bye week for the Tiger Bowl, we'll take it.
That's right.
For sure.
We'll take what we can get.
Frank Wilson, interim head coach. I know you spent some time around Frank. How do you feel that's gonna play for this team?
Look, Frank's the man. I love Frank Wilson. Obviously, like you said, he was there when I was there. He was one of those coaches on the staff that everybody just seemed to really love and rally around. I'd say him, Ensminger, Tommy Moffitt, all those kind of guys, kind of that same crew. But Frank's great. Obviously, he's got head coach experience. He knows how to get the guys motivated. The running backs have always loved him. Now he kind of gets in front of the whole team. I'm excited. He's going to have that team fired up for the game this weekend. I'm looking forward to what he can do.
You've played in LSU Bama games. You know what those two uniforms on a field can kind of conjure up. I know there's no more Les Miles. There's no more Nick Saban. LSU's not chasing a championship. The SEC West isn't on the line. But what does it mean to you when these two teams get together?
It's just a gladiator match. You know, it's the game, I think, no matter what the record is of both teams, even though most of the time they're both pretty strong, people look forward to turning that game on. It's just two strong brands, two powerhouses really of the 2000s on. I don't know. I think it's always a grudge match. I think it's a game that no matter what the records are, two teams go in and go at it. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do in Tuscaloosa.
I read a little story on LouisianaSports.net. It's kind of an aside here. In the game that was played in 2011 between these two teams, it was two games, 2011, 2012, but there were 20. There were 20 first and second round picks on the field. If you go back for the University of Texas, from now to 2009, you get 20 of those. So that was one game. You're talking about 16 years of Texas football to produce that. I mean, the amount of talent that these two teams have produced, it was, to me, a rivalry that kind of defined the first quarter century here, the first 25 years. We're in 2025, and you were part of it. It's a special deal, even if LSU hadn't kept up their end of the bargain this year. There's still going to be a ton of talent on that field. Let's talk about LSU running the ball. You love the run game. You were in a really good run game. Like, what would you like to see from LSU on Saturday?
Let's see a little power out there, man.
Okay.
A little power, a little counter. Let's just line up. You know, obviously we've kind of been a shotgun system all year. Maybe let's get under center here and there. Let's throw them something different they're not really expecting. Bring extra tight ends in the game if you need to, kind of move guys around. You know, a tight end could do a lot, whether that's on the line, in the fullback position. You can kind of create a lot off of that. So I'd like to see us mix it up. And I think Frank's going to bring kind of that bulldog mentality to the offense and get the run game going. Obviously, being a running back coach, you would think we've kind of got more emphasis on that this week. So, yeah, I'd like to see us mix it up. Maybe I know we're a spread out team, but let's get in some different formations. Let's get in some different personnel groups. Let's throw Alabama maybe wrinkles they're not expecting.
I've got 3 data points here. 1, Frank Wilson said in his introductory press conference, we're going to run the ball with a smile on his face. 2, he's the head coach who's been dealing with running backs. He's the running back coach. He's now the head coach. 3, your offensive coordinator now has an offensive line background. Like, I can't think of 3 stronger data points that would suggest, hey, they're about to run the ball a lot more. And as we talked about last week, like, there are only, I think, 13 teams in the FBS that have run the ball less frequently than LSU. I think that's going to change.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things we've talked about all year. You can't be one-dimensional. Let's find ways to get it done. Outside of the regular, getting in the gun, hand and zone, maybe duo. Let's mix in some power, like I said, maybe getting some formations where they're not really expecting it. You can get more downhill runs. I'm with you. I think Frank's going to throw some wrinkles out for everybody. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised at what the offense throws out there.
The issue is you may be compromised on the offensive line. We know that Tyree Adams is not going to play. Your starting left tackle, Carius Curran, filled in for him last week. Now he's got an issue that he hurt his knee at the end of the game there. So could be DJ Chester playing left tackle with Weston Davis on the right. They may switch Weston Davis over to left, but does that change the way you think about this when you consider the personnel up front?
I mean, that's all you got, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Look, you're still, I don't care if you're first string, third string, walk on, water guard. I mean, whatever you want to be. You still wear the purple and gold. You've got the 3 letters on the side of your helmet. Show up and prove why you were brought into this team, why you're here at the university, why you're in the SEC. Let's get out there and push some guys around. That's what you were brought in for. Let's get it done. So regardless, like I said, I don't care what title you had when the season started, when last week started. It doesn't matter to me. To me, it's about proving what you're worth, finishing the year strong, and even if you've got more years coming, let's develop for the years coming on beyond that. And again, I just think when you rock the purple and gold out there, you got to bring some physicality, and I think that's the end goal for the game.
Defense has got to do that too. Now, Bama has been a, dare I say, finesse offense to this point. They're in the top 20 in just about every passing statistic, and they're down in the hundreds in the running game. It's kind of similar to what LSU has been offensively, but Bama's just been far more consistent. They're better on third downs. They're way better in the red zone. So how do you feel like LSU's defense matches up against Ty Simpson and a team that has thrown it really well this year?
Yeah, look, obviously the past few games we've kind of struggled against the offenses that are a little bit more dynamic. Quarterback can provide a little bit of a run game. I think Ty Simpson kind of brings some of that as well. Maybe not as dynamic as a guy like Marcel Reed, but we're going to have to be sound. I think the spy is going to be less of an issue. You're going to be able to drop more into coverage and defend those Bama receivers who can roll, as we know. But we're going to have to. I mean, we're going to have to limit Bama to points. Obviously, they're going to score. They're going to get their licks. But if we can hold them, create turnovers, really prove on the back end that with the guys we have between our safeties and our corners, I think we got some of the best in the country. If they can hold on the back end, I think we'll be fine. We'll be in the game, and we'll just continue and see if we can get that offense going to stay in it.
I want to ask you about playing in Tuscaloosa because I get mixed reviews on that from fans and from players that have played. So what's your memory of being in Bryant-Denny and kind of what the environment's like there?
They got the most annoying elephant sound.
They do play the elephant sound a lot
in America. And it's one of those stadiums. It's loud, don't get me wrong. Of course, always people always say, the Bama fans are spoiled. They're kind of not as into the game as everyone else. I will say it does not compare to Death Valley. But it's loud. Look, it's the SEC. Every stadium's loud you go into. It's going to be hard to get signals in. It's just one of those deals. I think wherever you play in the conference, you're going to get a good rowdy crowd. But yeah, I don't think it really compares to Death Valley, but it is obviously another level. They're going to be riled up, and they're going to try to put the dagger in us. And I think we got to do what we can to get the game going early enough where we kind of shut the crowd out of it.
What stadiums did stand out in your time playing the SEC? I'm curious.
Man, One of the most underrated stadiums, and maybe it's not underrated because they always have crazy games there, is Auburn. I thought
sure.
Auburn.
I'm with you on that.
We played there in 2014, and it was the same game that Katy Perry came out and said we smelled like corn dogs in Baton Rouge. So they were throwing corn dogs at us during the game. The game got out of hand early. It was 41-7. They were just as loud at the end of the game as they were to start the game.
So the Brandon Harris game when he started.
Yeah, so it was the B. Harris game, and then in 16 we went back, and that was a game, of course, we lost on the last second throw. That was Les's last game, but Auburn to me was always one of the more impressive stadiums.
It is. I would agree with that. I've seen. I say this all the time. I think I've seen all the SEC teams like stadiums at about their best. I saw Auburn with Cam. Saw the Swamp with Tebow. I saw Ole Miss when they were really good. Mississippi State. But I've seen a lot of good ones. But I kind of meekly come to the defense of Bryant Denny. I was there in 2011. It was keyed up. I mean, it was crazy in there. But Auburn, absolutely. I've seen that place. Saw on Springs Wells there in 08. Yeah, that was wild. 06 was wild too. So yeah, I'm with you on that. How do you think it goes on Saturday for our guys?
Well, look, I'm a Tiger through and through. Let's go. Let's say the offense gets the run game going. We kind of limit the possessions. Let's go.
That's a good point, Learn that. Like, what's the roadmap? Like, how do they? LSU's not as good as Alabama this year to me. Like, Bama's playing great football. Their quarterback's on fire, and LSU's is reeling. What is the way that they can win the game? Run the ball and slow the game down. Pull a Vanderbilt.
I think so. I think you got to limit as many possessions as you can during the game. With us kind of having offensive struggles, we just have to be efficient, getting first downs, rolling clock. I think that's our recipe to win the game, and that has to take running the ball. So we have to get that done. If we get that done, I could see the game being, I don't know, let's go, let's say 28-27, something like that.
It would be wild if they could get that done, and it would not be unprecedented this year in college football. We've seen UCLA get hot after they fired their coach. We saw UAB pull an upset if they fired their coach. Arkansas has played very well since firing their coach. We saw Florida give Georgia all they wanted on Saturday. So it's been happening around college football. We'll see if LSU's got it in them. Y'all headed to T-Town, a little takeover there?
We are. Actually, there's a Traveling Tigers trip. So, again, I would recommend calling our office at the Alumni Association, getting in contact with Brantley. We got a great Traveling Tigers trip going on. Going to take over T-Town. Always fun to travel to Tuscaloosa. Beyond that, alumni, look, we've got our business membership. We're continuing to push. We've got another great event coming November 20th. It's going to be 537. DSLD, one of our gold members, obviously a big program and a big home builder in the area, they've partnered with us. So we're going to host an event at one of their show homes and really looking forward to it. Continuing to try to help Tiger businesses excel and expand business. So
that's late November with DSLD?
November 20th. That's correct.
November 20th. Awesome to hear. All right, he's picking the Tigers to win. Either way, we'll talk about it next week with our guy, Colin Jeter. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Colin Jeter, former Tiger tight end, and, of course, with the LSU Alumni Association. All right, we'll come back, talk some LSU offensive line next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Tell you all the time about America's best warranty. How about you purchase that vehicle? You get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Purchase that vehicle, you get a 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. The peace of mind you get when you drive off the lot, knowing that you're not going to have to deal with those pesky car issues because it's under warranty, is priceless. Talk about an enhanced 24/7 roadside assistance, so you know no matter what time of day or where you are, they'll help you out roadside. And then, of course, talk about all the time that scheduled maintenance that is complimentary and valet for 3 years. So talking about the oil changes, getting those air filters dealt with, of course, the windshield wipers as well, wiper fluid, all that. Complimentary valet. They come get your car, bring it back to the dealership. They service it, bring it right back to you. You never miss a beat. Go see them, Airline at PQ. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. They're online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to Dream.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May of Remax Partners. You can reach him at darylmayproperties.com or 268-6915 here in the 225. That's 268-6915. Daryl May of Remax Partners, buying or selling a home here in Baton Rouge. Daryl can help you out. He's got more than 2 decades experience on the building side, so he knows what you should be looking for. Certainly spent his entire life here in the 225, so knows what you're looking for from that perspective from buying and selling as well. So check him out. They're Remax Partners. Daryl May bringing you our Tuesday shows here on the Hunt Palmer Show. I want to start talking a little bit about LSU's offensive line and what they're going to attempt to get accomplished against Alabama with the personnel that they have. You know that you're not going to have your left tackle. Tyree Adams is out. So what are you going to do at left tackle? I thought Karius Kern was a good solution. I was excited when they made that move to him for the game against Texas A&M. Of course, you saw, early in that game, Cassius Howell comes off the edge and gets that big sack, and you're like, I don't know if he can pass protect. But they did run the football, especially to the left, behind Karius Kern and Cohen Eccles pretty well early in that game, and they got into a situation where they had to throw it late in the second half, and just didn't go very well. But you're talking about an Alabama defense that has been a little bit susceptible to the run. They're 95th in the country in yards per carry allowed. That's 4.5 yards per carry. They're better in terms of their passing defense. They're 12th in the country there in passing defense. They're 13th in the country in passing touchdowns allowed. They don't allow a lot of big plays. They're 4th in the country in 20-plus yard passes allowed. They're susceptible on the ground. You saw Vanderbilt was able to run it against them a little bit on the ground. You saw certainly Florida State was really able to make some hay against Alabama on the ground. LSU doesn't have the mobile quarterback those guys have, but you do have dynamic running backs that you've got to get behind and run. And let's see what they're going to do at left tackle. I think DJ Chester is probably going to be the answer. I didn't like Frank Wilson's tone yesterday when he mentioned that Kern was going to be questionable. Now, I don't have a lot of experience in Frank Wilson dealing with the media to be able to decipher things the way that I might with other coaches that I've covered for a little bit longer. And maybe Kern's going to be okay. We'll see when that availability report comes out on Wednesday. But more often than not, guys that have been probable have gone. And then when you start to get into questionable and certainly doubtful, you've had guys miss time. And with him saying that Kern's going to be questionable, I don't feel great about that on Monday. So I think it's going to be DJ Chester. I don't think they're going to move Weston Davis over to left tackle. We talked to Glen West about that in the first hour. That just seems like a very, very poor idea. And this is a Brian Kelly quote. Brian Kelly said they're not going to move Josh Thompson out to tackle. He was pretty adamant about that, which to me suggests they at least had those conversations. Thompson did play right tackle at Northwestern in 2023. He moved inside to right guard at 2024, and he's played right guard for you here in 2025. It's just it's a disappointing situation LSU finds itself in where you don't necessarily have a tackle that you can trust. I realize that Adams got hurt, and I realize that Kern is now hurt, and that's obviously going to put anybody behind the 8 ball. But here's the deal that I say this all the time. And it's not the football guy in me. I just don't have that gear like my guy BT has, Brandon Taylor on the pre- and post-game show, like certainly Hester and Flynn do on the morning show. And those guys have football like in their blood. I'm just analyzing this from the outside. You can say next man up all you want, and it is literally correct. The next man up's got to go play. There's a reason he's the next man up and not the man. And I just feel like you've got an offensive line that's going to go into this situation compromised. If LSU could play Tyree Adams at left tackle and Carius Kern at right tackle in this game, I would feel better about the offense significantly. The fact that you probably have neither of them makes me feel significantly worse about the offense. I think it limits your ability to run the ball. I think it limits your quarterback's confidence. I think it limits the play calls that you can make because you can't get the ball down the field because you don't feel like you have enough time to call those plays. So they're going to have to do some things a little bit differently. And that, to me, is why I think you may see some of your backup quarterback, Michael Van Buren, in the game. You might see some direct snaps at Juwan Johnson. You might see some things to try to give LSU a numbers advantage because you don't have a talent advantage. You got to win one of them. You either got to win the war up front or you got to outnumber them up front. And to me, like, because Michael Van Buren can throw the ball a little bit, because Juwan Johnson gives you another gear, you might need to help this offensive line and do that. I don't know if the answer is to bring Donovan Green in on one side and bring Bauer Sharp in on the other side and plant them next to those tackles and play with 2 tight ends all day. Like I don't think that's your answer. You still want to spread the field, but when you spread the field and you do so with an offensive line that you don't feel like can keep Alabama from getting pressure and blowing up your offense, like that's tough. Bama's not been a great pass rush. They're 82nd in the country in sacks. They haven't been a terror up front. They're 69th in the country in tackles for loss at just 5.5 per game. This is not one of those Saban defenses with Quinnen Williams. And I mean, I could go the names on and on and on and on. You know, the guys that were just impossible to block with Jonathan Allen and Marcel Darius, and I mean, it was a different guy year over year over year with Tim Williams and Will Anderson, and like, you know, Dallas Turner. Like, they don't have that. This is not that. But does LSU have the guys up front to go ahead and take it to Alabama? I don't know. I mean, look, Florida State's no world beater. Vanderbilt doesn't do it traditionally. They move their offensive line here and there. But I feel like I would be fairly convicted in what I saw from LSU's running game against Texas A&M 2 weeks ago. Like, that first half was really eye-opening. Like, they really did run the ball. Barry looked comfortable and confident and patient, and Durham broke off that big run. And that offense that I saw, that group that I saw, I think could run it on Alabama. I really do. When you take now probably your 2 best tackles off the field, I don't know if I feel as good about it. Maybe LSU can win in the interior. You still have Eccles. You still have Moore. You still have Thompson. And maybe you get into, like Colin was talking about in the last segment, you get into some power and maybe the side you run to, you help with the tight end there, and you try to win between the tackles, try to win in that A gap, try to win in that B gap. Maybe you get Jack Pyburn back there at fullback and try some of that you saw. You've had a bye week and a new coaching staff to put a fresh look on this. You've got time to do some things that are some wrinkles in the running game. But I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if you can overcome the losses that you've got based on where you were personnel-wise to start. You are the worst running team in the SEC again. You were the worst running team in the SEC last year. So for 2 years straight, that's your biggest weakness. And when you look at Bama and you look at what they do well and you look at where they struggle, more importantly, which is stopping the run at times, can you make that hurt? I just don't know. So we'll be looking at what Frank Wilson has to say at the teleconference tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We'll look for his press conference on Thursday. We'll have availability reports from practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we'll have a better look at this on Friday afternoon when we do this segment and start looking at it. But early in the week, just on Tuesday, as I sit here, my confidence level is just not there that these guys can make that hurt. It's not to say that Bama's going to dominate LSU up front and that they can't. I mean, I'm looking for LSU to find an advantage on the field. That's what I'm looking for. I want to find a spot where LSU can win. And I just don't know if I see that at this point, which is a bit of a bummer there. So just looking, continuing to evaluate. If you want to take a look at Alabama and what they do as far as statistically speaking, which is literally the name of the piece, I've got one every single Monday on LSU's opponents. It's up there for free on LouisianaSports.net right now. And you can see what it's color-coded. Red's what they're not very good at. Green's what they're very good at. Just a lot of numbers. It's not a very difficult read. You just go through and check out the numbers, see what the color code says. But it suggests that Bama plays a little bit more finesse this year. They're way better throwing it than they are running it. They're way better stopping the pass than they are stopping the run. So my immediate inclination is, okay, how do we run it on this guys? And it involves Harlan Berry, but it might involve a lot more than that. We'll see what LSU is able to do coming up on Saturday. We'll talk a lot more about LSU as we move forward in this week. But for right now, let's shift our attention to the black and gold, to the New Orleans Saints. The NFL trade deadline is 35 minutes away. The Saints have made one move today. Will they make another one? If they do, we'll react to it. But I'll ask Sharief what his thoughts are as the Saints move forward here. We'll do that next on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Vaughn and his team, 30-plus years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. You can do something simple like a tub-to-shower conversion. Like in the Palmer house, we're using our bathtubs all the time. We got two little ones. About 6:30, it's time to get in the tub. But I know before we had the little ones, the bathtubs never got used. Nobody in our house was taking a bath. If that's your situation and your tub is kind of dingy or it's getting a little bit old, not quite as functional as it once was, or you just, again, don't use it, well, get rid of it. Do a tub-to-shower conversion. Get rid of that old tub, put in a gorgeous new glass walk-in shower, use that space to add value to your home and make your bathroom a more comfortable spot. David Vaughn is happy to do it. He'll have the conversation with you. You get that free consultation. That part didn't cost you a penalty. And if you decide to go through with things, they've got financing options available, 0% up to 18 months if you qualify at One Bath and Closets. You can get that consultation at OneBathAndClosets.com. It's David Vaughn, One Bath and Closets.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners. Contact Daryl May if you're looking to buy or sell a home here in Baton Rouge. Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners bringing you our Tuesday shows. Sharief Aishack, part of those Tuesday shows, joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharief, how are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing just like I do every Tuesday, feeling winless.
Winless, yeah. I mean, the Saints technically have a win. Pels, not so much. But they're trying to make moves on both sides of the aisle here. Let's talk Saints first. We'll get to the team, but let's do trade deadline. Rashid Shaheed on the way out. Your initial thoughts as they recoup a 4th and a 5th for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit better than I thought they were going to get. I see that they were asking for a 3rd, and they already got a 3rd and like a 5th or 6th. That would have been an absolute steal for the Saints. But a 4th and a 5th, helps. They go from 5 picks to 7 picks. We got about 30 minutes left before the deadline is up. So I was hoping that they would do a little bit more, kind of like what the Jets are doing, being smart and loading up on picks. But it just doesn't seem like the Saints are going to make any more moves at this point.
Is there a player or two that you have your eye on to move? I mean, the Jets have some young assets that have made Pro Bowls. The Saints aren't exactly flush with those.
No, I mean, the only guys I would I'd throw out there like realistic would be Olave, Alontae Taylor, Pete Werner, and Cesar Ruiz. The 2 of those guys are due for contracts, and Olave and Alontae Taylor. I think that I would try to move them at any cost, not like a terrible cost, but this team needs picks, huh?
Yes.
They need to reload, get some younger players. I know those guys are young, but those are young assets on rookie deals, so you make the moves, even if it's just a 3rd and a 6th or a 3rd and a 5th for Olave and a 4th round pick for Alontae Taylor. You make the moves. I don't care. Just do it so you can reload the cupboard and have some more picks for the upcoming NFL draft. But the looks of it, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
So you look at the Saints at wide receiver. They move on from Rashid Shaheed. I believe that should theoretically open up some snaps for Devon Vele, who they traded for. And you do have Ja'Kai Polk waiting in the wings, who won't play this year, but you also traded for him. So, do you feel like the Saints have enough at wide receiver moving into the future, or do you feel like Shaheed is gonna hurt them?
Well, I mean, have Vele, let's just say Olave is not moved and they give him an extension, which I'm going to disagree with an extension for Olave if it's going to be a lot of money. And I just don't think they have enough young receivers there. I mean, yes, you get Jalen Polk next year, but that's just like having Olave. So they need to go get more playmakers, and they're going to be stuck right in the same spot in terms of trying to evaluate this team with a rookie quarterback with no playmakers now, and it doesn't look like future playmakers unless something happens in the draft next year. So, yeah, Hunt, they need to go get a receiver. They need to go get a real tight end that you can count on. They need a running back. They need guys who can block. They got 4 first-rounders on that line and a second-rounder and having issues. So this team desperately needs playmakers and guys who can, block. And it's simple. It's the most fundamental things in football. They're not doing it right now, and they need to figure that out this offseason.
All right, let's talk about what we saw from Tyler Shuck back on Sunday. Your initial thoughts?
Incomplete. I'm going to leave it at that because I'll talk a little bit about it. I just felt like there weren't enough snaps. 40 snaps? I mean, he didn't even get 40 of those snaps. I mean, what I didn't like was, the Taysom Hill coming in for 2 or 3 plays and then putting him back in and then putting Taysom Hill in on down. If you're truly going to start him and evaluate your 40th overall pick, you let him play.
Yeah.
In the time that I saw, he made some good throws. Now, the one throw he made to Brandon Cooks could have gotten picked off, but his arm strength squeezed it in there. The defender just missed that in double coverage, but he made some good throws. But there were some throws that I didn't like, and there were some throws I did like. So I feel like leaving that game, I'd say I feel okay about his performance. Incomplete and okay. I mean, that deep pass to Rashid Shaheed, it looked like he lost it down the sideline. Maybe he finds it and he can speed up a little bit and makes it a play, has a chance to make a catch. But he made some good throws. There's some throws I just didn't like. The interception, I understand it's on 4th down. The pressure was caving in on him. The line and pass protection wasn't that great once again. So, you just hope that he makes leaps against the Carolina Panthers and moving forward because, he's starting the rest of the way minus an injury. So I did hope that he's going to play much better. He went against one of the better defenses in the NFL. So at least that he got a chance to learn on the road against that defense and feel like that he's going to at least make strides in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's as bad a matchup as you can find, the way the Rams are playing on the road. I realize it's not the toughest environment in the NFL, but that's not a great place to make your first start. Now, as you look forward, I know the Panthers have a pretty good record, but I don't think anybody considers them a Super Bowl threat like the Rams really are. And then you got the bye week and then some winnable games coming up after the bye. Like, do you feel like that when things lighten up that you could see something good from Shuck here?
Yeah, look, with this team, Hunt, by the way, there's no such thing as a winnable game moving forward.
None?
I'm going to put that. There are no such thing as winnable games. I don't care if it's the Jets, the Titans. I just do not care right now to say any game on the schedule is winnable. But what we want to see is the continued growth and progress from Tyler Shuck. And yes, to answer your question, yes, there are opportunities for Tyler to go into some of these games. I think Carolina has a really good defense, by the way. That's going to be a tough match on the road for him again, the way they play defense. But that's an opportunity to once again be thrown into the fire on the road against a good defense where he can continue to grow and learn and step up in the pocket a little bit more and stand there and deliver some of those balls down the field and intermediate routes. So this is, once again, a great chance for him to continue to learn his position and learn some of his receivers like Olave and Bailey. So this is like where you see what he has in these final 9 games of the season. So, or 8 games of the season. So I think he's in a good spot to, continue showing Kellen Moore. But here's the thing, Hunt. They got to take the handcuffs off. All right. They did this with Spencer Rattler. They got to take the handcuffs off and just let him cook. Like legitimately, Kellen Moore and Nussmeier, Doug Nussmeier, have to just let him cook. Forget it. The season's over. You're not winning more than 1 or 2 more games. You go out there and see what your young signal caller has. Don't do this. We're going to do these check downs. Don't be these conservative play calling. Just go out there and be you. Be Kellen Moore, the innovative guy that they hired you for, and let the quarterback cook with some of these young players and see what you got.
What's the most disappointing aspect of the defense right now?
Tackling. Absolutely, it's tackling. It feels like every other week we're talking about how this team continues to miss tackles, and it looks sloppy at times. That game against the Rams, it wasn't that Kyron Williams or any Puka Nacua, they weren't making like many moves. It was just simple running by them and like missing tackles. That's the most frustrating thing. Once again, fundamentals. The fundamentals of football. Saints not doing it, man. They got to learn how to tackle better because that was some of the sloppiest tackling I've ever seen.
How do you think the team mentally is going to move through this?
Well, I mean, right back in the same spot they were almost a year ago, right? November 4th, exactly a year ago. Dennis Allen was fired, and people were wondering how would they respond. You hope that they respond in a positive way. I mean, they have no choice other than to, once again, continue developing, learning, and growing and making some kind of progress for the future. I mean, that's pretty much where they are. I mean, there's like wins and losses. What does it do? Losing for this franchise is probably winning in terms of getting a higher draft pick. But all you want to do is the development. It's in a rebuild phase. They know that. So you just don't want to see your young players quit. You don't want to see them get a bad attitude. You don't want to see that happening, which I don't see happening. I really don't see that happening in the locker room. I feel like the vibes are still good with the players, even though that they're sitting at 1-8, the worst start since 1980.
It's a tough spot for the Saints. They'll continue to chug forward here as the trade deadline rapidly approaches in 20 minutes. To lighten the mood here, let's go across airline highway to the Pels. Hadn't quite gotten it done. I'm a little surprised Willie Green still has a job. Are you?
Yeah, you, me, and everyone who covers the team, I think, is a little surprised. I thought I told you last week if they go 0-6 and get shellacked on the road like they got shellacked, that he wouldn't be the coach come Monday morning. I do not know what happened. I do not know if, like Gail said, we just fired Dennis a year ago, Griffin a year ago. I mean, recently, Derek Carr just retired on us. I just don't know if I can have any more negative publicity. But the problem is here, Hunt, I think it's worse to keep somebody when you're 0-6 and getting beat down like this. When you're 0-6 and just getting crushed, you're looking at it like, yeah, it's a marathon and not a sprint. But, like, you got to get out of the box. You're not getting out of the box, and it's just terrible.
Why are they getting crushed?
Why are they getting crushed? I think it's coaching. You've got too much talent. I think it's lineups. I think it's, Willie's a super nice guy. He took the questions like a champ yesterday, the heat-seeking missile questions about his job in the hot seat. He knows that, it comes with the business when you're not winning. But I think it's just, man, some of these lineups, I mean, what is going on? They're getting punched in the mouth. Sometimes they go into teams, they're allowing these big runs. There's no timeouts. It's like, yeah, it's on the players too to just, do the basic things of making layups. You see a lot of missed layups from the players, which is crazy for me to say, but they're just getting absolutely crushed. And I get these teams are elite that they're losing to, but like, man, be competitive. If you're not competitive, it's coaching and it's players. So like, I'm having a lot of problems with coaching and players just being competitive too. So I mean, it's little blame. There's a lot of dirty hands in this situation, Hunt, when it comes to the Pelicans. A lot, not just coaching, not just players. I mean, Joe Dumars made these decisions, man, with the trading these picks, putting this franchise in a difficult situation too, giving away those picks to the Hawks and Pacers. So a lot of dirty hands right now, and it's I hate to say it, but it's starting to be look a little late, kind of early for them. Or how do you say that?
It's getting late early, is how you would say that, and it's not good in either department there under Benson headquarters, which is another issue altogether. So maybe cover that on a different day. Sharief, we appreciate the time. We'll talk next week.
All right, you got it, Hunt. See you next Tuesday.
Sharief Aishack, WDSU down in New Orleans. Saints 1-8, Pels 0-6. It's not good down there in the Big Easy currently. Brought to you by Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners. Tell you can reach Daryl if you're looking to buy or sell a home. Highly recommend you do that. You can find him at darylmayproperties.com. You can also give him a phone call, 225-268-6915. That's 268-6915. Daryl May with RE/MAX Partners brings you our Tuesday shows. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Starting to get dark a little earlier. Starting to cool down a little bit. Don't have time to go play a round of golf, but you'd like to do so anyway. How about Swing Easy? Go by Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. You can play 18 holes on the simulator in like an hour. You can play Pebble Beach. You can play Spyglass Hill. You can play TPC Sawgrass, TPC Scottsdale. Play Bethpage. You can play TPC Louisiana, where they play the Open down there at in Avondale. You can play them all. Hang out and hit some golf balls with your friends over at Swing Easy Golf Club. Quick, easy, affordable. You can get memberships. You can entertain clients, hang out on the weekends at the night. and socialize. Swing Easy Golf Club, Seguin at Perkins. Phenomenal private bays that you've got with comfortable seating, cold beer, glass of wine, seltzer, all at the ready at Swing Easy Golf Club. Check them out online, swingeasygcbr.com. swingeasygcbr.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Got something awesome going over at Court to Table. Got sports trivia every single Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Hosted it at Pluckers for years and years and kind of rekindled things over at Court to Table. Had a great turnout the first 3 weeks. You can come by. Great restaurant, great bar area. They got games on TV. There are screens everywhere. You can win gift cards. Good gift cards, $25 for first place. There are 5 of them up for grabs if you can win a round. Also got free 30-minute sessions on the pickleball courts if you get second place in any of the rounds. So if you're looking for something to do this evening, want to get out of the house, maybe get something to drink, something good to eat, come on by at Court to Table, 8 o'clock, sports trivia. It's right there on Burbank. Incredible facility. If you have not been, you will be really, really impressed and looking forward to getting back there tonight at 8 o'clock. Watched a little college hoops last night. LSU doesn't start till tomorrow. And I watched Arizona and Florida play. Man, it's some high-level stuff. Those are really good basketball teams. Of course, Florida, the defending national champs, which they're retooling the backcourt a little bit. They've still got some of the same faces in the front court with Condon and Chenyalu and those guys. They're big, they're physical, and they looked that last night. But Arizona stared them right between the eyes, got behind, came back and won that game. Jordan, I don't know if you were watching that game on last night. Did you watch it?
I did not watch it. I was watching Monday Night Football.
Are you aware of who Arizona's star was last night as a true freshman?
I seen his highlights. He's kind of like a power forward, kind of brolic.
His name is Koa Pete.
Yeah.
Any idea who his brother might be?
Koa Pete. No way is Andres Pete.
Andres Pete's brother was hooping last night for Arizona, was dunking on dudes, true freshman. Scored 30 on Florida last night. The defending champs.
I'm about to say, Florida's still loaded. I know they still got Condon and whatnot. Obviously, they don't have Walter, but still, they're going to recoup and get back right. You kind of ruined my day with that. Pete's little brother.
Koa Pete was out there just balling.
You know, the worst part about this is I can't even watch college basketball this year because the Pelicans don't have a pick. So it's like, why am I even going to watch any of these young guys and all this?
Shout out Joe Dumars, just ditching that pick. Don't need it. We'll take Derek Queen. It'll be awesome.
Polo Joe.
Not quite awesome at this point. But Florida looked really good last night. Good night in the SEC overall, other than Florida losing to Arizona. The one noteworthy score, and I'm just telling you, not going to overreact. It's one basketball game. But Bruce Pearl was on the desk on TBS last night doing halftime and postgame for Arizona and Florida. And Steven, his kid, was coaching Auburn.
Yes.
And they went to overtime with Bethune-Cookman.
Whoa.
So that's not great.
That's bad.
Look, it's one game.
Nah,
you never know.
Don't do that. It's bad.
But Bruce Pearl had that thing humming, and now Steven's going to overtime with Bethune-Cookman in game one. So that's not great on the plans at Auburn. Look, here's the deal. This is coming from me, LSU fan. Tigers have been up against it in basketball the last few years. If we can start getting some of these SEC teams to come back down to where they usually are, that's fine with me. So if Auburn wants to take 3 steps down from the Bruce Pearl era, I'm fine. I need one of these teams to hire Nate Oates away from Alabama. I don't know how that's going to happen, but it needs to happen. And then, look, you saw Musselman move on. We'll see what Calipari can do there. Buzz Williams no longer at Texas A&M. We'll see what Bucky can do there. But I need some of these teams to come back down to the pack because I'm tired of trying to punch up at Auburn going to the Final Four and Alabama going to the Final Four when they were bad my whole life. So I'm for Auburn getting significantly worse, and hopefully yesterday was a sign of that happening. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer, just 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. That's what you're looking for in a light beer, but you're also looking for that delicious beer flavor, and it's got it there with Yingling Flight. You're talking about brewed by the oldest brewer in America, still family owned and operated there in Pottsville, PA. Yingling. It's Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer.
All right, let's start it off with your Cubs. Unfortunately, Cubs left-handed starter Shota Imanaga is entering free agency, sources told ESPN, after the team rejected an option to extend his contract out to 2028. He likewise rejected a $15 million player option for next season, triggering his ability to become a free agent. Did the Cubs make the right move right here by letting him walk? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it. He had a great year and a half. He had a terrible second half of this year. He's 33 years old. He gives up a lot of home runs. His velocity ticked down a little bit. And the Cubs, if they're not going to spend like the big boys, like the Dodgers, then you're going to have to spend it wisely. And I don't need to sink 3 years into a 33-year-old pitcher who's losing velocity. So I'm good with it. Go get somebody that throws 97 miles an hour with all that cash. If you're going to save it, they saved about $20 million over the next 3 years with it. So I'm good. Go get somebody that throws harder.
All right, so tonight we have the Battle of Mid. The New Orleans Pelicans' last win was March 30th of 2025 against their opponent tonight, the Charlotte Hornets. Can the Pelicans finally get a win tonight? I know, I feel like I've done this like 4 or 5 times already. I know. Just sooner or later, we got to get a win. Is this the night?
I'll take it. Pels get a victory tonight. Big effort from somebody. They're not even hurt. I used to have to really monitor who's even available for the Pels tonight. That isn't even the case this time. They got everybody available. Yeah. They just don't beat anybody.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have to leave it. I'm about to say
your confidence is shaking to its core.
I'm shaking. I'm like, it's like I'm in an abuseful household. Like I'm just like I don't know what to do anymore.
He's jittery. He's nervous.
Jittery. Like
doesn't even want to be here.
I got what do you say? Vomit on my shirt, mom spaghetti. Like I'm just all over the place. I can't do it. I don't even know if I can stomach the second half of this game because the Pelicans games always start in the third quarter. Finally, last but not least, getting dark at 5:30 p.m. Take it or leave it.
Leave it. It stinks. Terrible. My wife likes it, but we had a breakthrough this morning. My wife, she's always about it because she thinks it reminds her of Christmas. She can get on the couch and snuggle because it's dark outside. I'm going, you can do that if it's daylight outside. What's the difference? But she got cranky. She's cranky now because our kids see that daylight and they get out of bed. So that is what she doesn't care about, the 5:30 p.m. It's the 6 o'clock a.m. that she's now cranky about. Obviously, this is a terrible time in the calendar in terms of daylight.
Yes.
I want daylight. I want to be able to do some things outside late in the evening.
Yes.
Can't do it at this point. It stinks. I hope we get rid of it, but it is where we are right now. But I'm hopeful that we've finally settled that score in the Palmer house where she thinks it's better when it's dark at 5 p.m. Terrible.
That's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, Take It or Leave It, brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Another reminder, our Tuesday show is brought to you by Daryl May of Remax Partners. You're buying or selling in Baton Rouge, Daryl May can help you out with that. Appreciate him for making our Tuesday shows possible. A lot that we got into today. Started out with Nick Saban, whether or not he's a guy that could end up with the LSU job. Shaq's talking about it. I talked about it. You can find that on YouTube at Hunt on LSU. Rashid Shaheed has been moved. There's 5 minutes left to the deadline, and I don't see another Saints move, so that's not great. Hopefully something comes across the wire in the next 5 minutes. They need draft picks. When I talked about the Shaheed pick, you can find that, the trade, you can find that at Hunt on Saints. Glen West talking Tigers, Colin Jeter talking Tigers, Sharief Aishack talking Saints. All of it's on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search The Hunt Palmer Show. Anywhere you find that, you can like, subscribe, rate, and review. Lots to get into tomorrow. LSU tip-off on the hardwood. Get into our What If Wednesday, and we'll have a little college football discussion with our guy, J.D. Piquel. And that's next on AFR. Have a good Tuesday.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassion.